From the Gospel of Matthew. Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of the others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets to be honored by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. And when you pray, do not be like the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. When you fast, do not look somber like the hypocrites do, for they disfigure their faces to show others that they are fasting. Truly, I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face, so it will not be obvious to others that you are fasting, but only to your Father who is unseen. And your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you.
As we set out on this year's Lenten season, this evening we are reading in the prayer the passage of Matthew's Gospel we just have listened to. As Christians, we have taken over the three main Jewish religious practices, which are giving alms, prayer, and fasting. Our search for God and Jesus in our life requires human structures and practices which help us to put into words and actions what we would like to express. We can't do without them. There is a contradiction, however, that we experience in ourselves and can observe in the life of others. We don't need to pray to live a happy life. We don't need to give money each time we meet someone in need without feeling guilty the whole day for not having offered any help. Ultimately, we can ask ourselves, do we really need God? In his address to his disciples, Jesus wants them to think about the purpose and meaning of these practices. This question also arises in us today, and so it is good to take a moment to reflect on it. I want to give you a personal testimony. Years ago, and for a long time, I prepared every year for the season of Advent a calendar for my brother's daughter, where she would discover each day of Advent a small present. It was a sort of ritual that I had found in order to build up a relationship with her, imagining how difficult it must be for her having such a strange uncle who comes only once a year to see her and lives such a strange life, such as community life must have seemed to her. Besides the work of preparing the calendars, I had a lot of fun doing it, and it filled me with warmth to think of her while making them. As the years went by, she started to get used to this ritual between us, and today I think it has helped us both to build up a relationship despite the separation. It seems to me that very often what isn't really essential in our lives matters a lot more than we often realize and can make a difference. I am sure that my niece had confusedly understood that behind this simple object that arrived every year by post, there was something deeper, something that cannot be expressed without a certain unnecessariness. But the question of Jesus remains, why are we doing it? Or for whom? In all our expressions and doings, we will never be able to disentangle completely the reasons why we are doing them. It takes time and sometimes the help of someone else to see more clearly into the depths of our motivations. This is true in our relationship with God too. There are so many desires, expectations, and hopes we place in God, just as there might be frustrations, anger, and disappointments as well. And all this comes together in Jesus as we accompany him these following weeks towards his passion, crucifixion, and resurrection. Jesus, fully human and fully divine, carries within himself the complexity of our human existence. God had chosen to dwell through Jesus in human language and bodily expression, taking the risk of being misunderstood and rejected. And Jesus, despite all the difficulties he encountered until the extreme loneliness at the cross, continued to remain faithful to his human condition through prayer, service, and fasting. And in his resurrection, he revealed that in God, nothing good we have done is ever lost. The smallest sign of love given, the shortest prayer said, and the smallest sacrifice made have their importance in God's sight and in the light of God's presence, as on the day of resurrection, when the disciples met the risen Jesus, we will come to understand the true motivations for why we have been doing things.